Hello, this is Lauren Cephus, and you are joining the Black Commission's Sharing Space podcast. Today, we are here with Kim Pryor, who is a city council candidate for District 7. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you, Lauren. I appreciate you having me.
Oh, no problem. We're so excited to get started and learn more about you. So let's get started. Who is Kim Pryor?
Well, Kim Pryor is someone who is very passionate about her community. I have been here in the Jacksonville area for roughly 29 years. Um, my daughter was born here. Um, and I grew up in a little small town right outside of Mobile, Alabama. And, after one little small stint in Houston and then Atlanta, and then I found Jacksonville to be my home.
Okay. Um, what inspired you to run for city council?
There's a lot there. But I'll tell you what really did it for me was last October, I believe it was, there was some American Rescue Plan Act money that was given to the city. And city council basically divvied out that money without any public input. So I am currentently chair of the Urban Core CPAC.
Okay.
And all the zoning changes are supposed to come through us for public input because we represent the neighborhoods of the urban core.
Okay.
When community development block grant funding is available, they usually come and talk to us about that. But they didn't do that with this money, and this was a lot of money. They waited until the very last part of the meeting. It was after 11 o'clock at night before they even took this bill up. And basically, they split the money between the council people and said, give it to whomever you want. And I just find that was just wrong. This money is supposed to go to help our neighborhoods to build back after the COVID pandemic. And the people should have had a voice in where that money went.
I agree.
One council member even gave that money to an organization that's not even in Duval County.
Okay.
So, I think we need to be transparent. There's a lot of things that happen that do not involve the public, and quite frankly, city council works for us, and we should definitely have a say.
I agree. Can you give a little bit of your background before we move forward to some of the other questions?
What do you?
Your community service. Let's start there.
Okay. I spent 9 years as the cantor at St. Catherine's Catholic Church in Orange Park.
Okay.
I have served on the board of directors for the Jacksonville Children's Chorus. My daughter was a member of that organization as well.
Yeah.
And I am currently vice president of Preservation SOS, which is a grassroots nonprofit formed for the sole purpose of stopping the demolition of our historic structures here in the urban core. You're familiar with preservation, so yes, I know you are. I know you are. And as I said a minute ago, I'm currently the chair of the Urban Core CPAC. I was appointed by Mayor Alvin Brown to serve on the CPAC back in 2015.
Oh, okay.
For a couple of years, then I was elected to vice chair for 3 years, and like I said, third year as chair now.
Okay. Wow, that's a big resume just for community service.
Thank you. I've been fighting for a long time.
Yes, I know. You're very, from what I know of you, you're very involved and a big advocate for the city, for the community.
Yeah.
Big advocate. So let's expand on your platform a little bit. What are your priorities?
You like those, do you?
I do.
We've got quality of life, which includes the infrastructure, roadways, sidewalks, parks. We've got all these people coming in and building in Jacksonville. And let's look at it. If we're going to build a house, what's the first thing you got to do? You got to build the foundation. So our foundation here is crumbling. And so we need to focus on that. And let me also preface this by these items are things that I currently think we need to focus and address on. But as I continue to speak with people in the district, I will learn what their priorities are and then can incorporate those. So just because I'm going to give you a list doesn't mean that that's it.
Right.
So another thing that's very important to me is transparency. There's no backroom deals, no doing stuff without public input. Town halls, regular town halls in different parts of the district, an open door policy, responsiveness to emails and phone calls. There is something called a neighborhood bill of rights, and it's something that was written back in the 90s, but it was never codified. And it is just things that are common sense. That it's a shame that we may have to codify these things, but common sense things like notify the people of a community before you're going to come in and tear the street up.
Okay, right.
Neighborhood preservation, each district, each neighborhood within District 7 is unique. The urban core especially has so many different, beautiful and independent neighborhoods. And we need to build up the good things that are within each of those neighborhoods instead of tearing them down. And that's literally and figuratively.
Right. Now, as you were talking about infrastructure, and I have a quick question. Have you noticed in your district that it seems yearly they're refilling potholes?
Yep.
Every year? Is that, are those folks that are doing the refilling, the companies, are they private companies that are contracting with the city, or are they city workers?
I don't know the answer to that specifically, but I could certainly find that out easy enough. They do have a procurement and vetting system that people actually put in bids for that type of work.
Okay.
But to address what you asked about redoing over and over and over again, it's just ridiculous to me that we'll spend the money to pave a road, and then 6 months or a year down the road, we're digging up parts of that same road to replace the sewer lines or replace water lines or something. That to me is just backwards. Come on. We've got to get better at planning. We've got to think ahead. And I don't know why they do it that way. Maybe they've got some grant money that says, oh, if we don't pave the road today, then we're going to lose this money. Well, if that's the case, then we're still wasting it. So why not, if we can't do it right, then we just need to take a step back and think about the order that we're doing things.
Right. I agree. Thank you for that. So here's the question at hand. Tax referendum or the 1 mil tax, yes or no?
Kind of on the fence, honestly.
Okay. And that's a good place to be.
What's that?
That's a good place to be, on the fence.
They just got a half a penny sales tax increase, and now they want another 1 mil. And with our current property tax increases based on value alone, I am concerned. We already have people that are being forced out of their homes because they can't afford them anymore, tax-wise and so forth. 1 mil doesn't seem like it's a whole lot for some, but it may be a whole lot for others. That being said, I know that our schools need work. And so that's kind of why I'm on the fence a bit. We have some of the lowest property tax rates in the entire country here. We could do more if we raise them. However, with the increase in property values, our taxes are going to increase as well. So I'd kind of like to see how the city is going to spend our money with this increase in money that they're going to get. We need to spend it wisely, be good stewards of our money.
Right. Are you familiar with the school board and like all of the happenings with the school district?
Well, that's a very broad question. Can you be a
All
little
right.
more specific?
Let's talk about in regards to the teachers, in regards to, let's just talk about the teachers and the situations that's going on with the teachers. Are you familiar with anything, that what is actually sparking the need for the tax referendum?
I know they're underpaid. And
Yeah.
I,
Yeah, we. I learned yesterday. I went to a forum, a group of pastors and faith-based pastors who are looking at the educational system and trying to advocate that way. And I learned that there's 400 teachers that are needed for the fall, which
400?
means that 400, and this is as per Dr. Green, that there are 400 vacancies for teachers, which means that there's 400 classes that will not be, or there's going to be overcrowding, I guess, in the different classrooms. And I just thought that was a neat tidbit. I wasn't sure if you knew, and I'm just sharing
I
information.
did not know
Strict,
that that number had been thrown out there.
yeah. And then also, I guess there was a concern about the teachers that are coming in are making the same as the teachers that had been there for like 13 years or so on and so forth. So,
Mm,
um, I believe that some of the mill tax is supposed to go towards bringing those senior teachers up to, a better wage. Um, I don't know all the ins and outs, and there is going to be a conversation in the future with Dr. Green to find out. But I just wasn't sure if you knew, and I was just literally sharing information, not to, you know, just to disturb you or anything. But I just really wanted to just
No, I appreciate you
give you.
sharing it. It's
Yeah.
a conundrum for sure, because we know that our teachers are underpaid, and that the only way for us to pay them what they really do deserve to be paid is to increase the tax base. And then you have trickle down effects from that. Um, what I was alluding to earlier, people who are unable to afford the taxes on their house because the Save Our Homes cap, the 3% limit on the property taxes, doesn't apply to school tax. I don't know if you do that
Hmm.
or not.
Okay. I didn't know. Mm-mm. Wow. There's a whole lot of stuff going on with these taxes. It's very confusing and very mathematical, and it's going to take a lot of discussion and research once you get on, city council if that does happen.
Yeah,
That's what.
Jeff,
But it's going to be a lot of conversation. It's a lot going on financially. Mm. Well, what do you like most about your community?
are you just talking about my community where I live or the entire district?
Dis-
The
District.
district.
Hmm.
I like the urban core. And
Hmm.
I live in the urban core. Full disclosure, I live in historic Springfield. So, but the collection of different neighborhoods that are all that surround our downtown area, we have such history, rich history, and I think that that's something that really speaks to me personally. I wouldn't live in a 116-year-old house if I didn't like history
Right.
type thing. So I like the
Mhm.
walkability. I don't necessarily have to get in my car to go
Mhm.
to Main Street to get some dinner or lunch or a coffee or
It's
something like
very
that. I
peaceful.
to me peaceful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Uh,
love it downtown when they do the fireworks
mhm.
at July 4th.
Right.
When you're downtown, right there near the river, and the big booms are going off, and it feels like the buildings are moving back and forth. The sound resonates off of the skyscrapers, and it's just it it's such a wonderful experience to be
Yeah.
downtown during the fireworks. As not that it's not good a little further away, but when you're right there in the midst of it, the sound really does take on a life of its own.
Yes, I agree. I've been down there for some concerts, the last few concerts that have happened down there, and just sitting at night under the stars. It's like it's almost like you're in your living room, but it's an open air living room, and it's
Right.
very comforting, and you have people around you, but you're just kind of in your own little zone and listening to the music. It's really nice. It's a very nice atmosphere. So um, I definitely agree. That's one of the pluses of living in Jacksonville. So you talked about the good things of the district. What kind of things do you definitely want to see changed within the district?
Downtown needs to come back to life.
Okay.
That
So,
is something that is going to then spark other growth, in my opinion. We need better partnerships with our JSO. They, for the most part, do a good job. I think they need to get out of their cars and establish relationships with the people in the communities that they serve. I think that would go a long way in helping to make the district and the city as a whole better. And then obviously things that we've already talked about, the infrastructure and sidewalks and parks. We have the largest park system, and we don't take care of it properly. That needs to be more of a priority, and it will only serve to lift up the city. And those are some of the things that I can think of just off the top of my head that we need to work on. Leave it at that for now.
I have another question for you in relation to some things that need to be changed. How could you influence bringing more small businesses? I know Main Street has a wonderful just wealth of small businesses thriving, more moving in every day. What I don't see downtown, I think, is Black businesses, small Black businesses, whatever it might be, clothier, whether it be retail. I'm sorry, I'm old. Clothier, retail, different restaurants, vegan restaurants, or boutiques. I don't see a lot of that. I know we have probably about 1% of Black businesses in the Main Street area, like between 8th Street and Main. I think there's like 2 Black businesses, maybe 3, I think. But even downtown, how can you encourage more small Black businesses to participate in commerce downtown?
I'm not sure that it's that this would necessarily apply to only Black businesses, but any business at all. What I have heard from some other business owners is that navigating the small business red tape that is present downtown today is extraordinarily frustrating. I know that they have some information on their website about small businesses and so forth, but what I would truly like to see is perhaps a small business department downtown that then would assign a mentor or an advocate to a new small business that would like to open up. Someone that could help them navigate the process so that they don't get caught at the end. They paid all this money for all these fees that they have to pay. And then at the end of it, right when they're trying to open up, and this happened to somebody here in Springfield, they told them, well, wait, you have to pay this contingency fee that's $30-some odd thousand because you did a zoning change to the property. Well, no one told him that changing the property to a PUD would then kick in this big contingency fee. And that was a huge surprise, shock, anger. So I think that small business owners have enough to have to worry about trying to get their feet off the ground with their business. Why can't we offer a little help along the way?
What is a PUD?
Planned unit development. Sorry.
I know you're in your zone.
Yeah, we have like residential, commercial, things of that nature. PUD is basically planned unit, means that you can carve out a little section of land and use it for a different reason than it was originally intended.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you for explaining that. The reason why I brought up the black small business is because there's a disparity. There's a disproportionate.
Disproportionate?
There you go.
Yeah.
Disproportionate amount of black businesses in the downtown area, which then affects the economic development of the black community. And I was just curious if after the recording, I'll talk to you a little bit about a study that was done in 2015 by the city, and it's about small businesses. But the reason why I'm asking is because I feel like we need an advocate of somebody that would be able to just bring people in and help them understand. And that idea that you had with the mentorship is really a good idea. And of course that would span across all ethnicities and so on and so forth. But because there's such a disproportionality of black small businesses in the city, I just was curious to see like if you had a plan or if you understood that there really is a need to be more inclusive. So something to think about. I'm not gonna put you on the spot, but it's just something to think about. Okay, so we're narrowing down to our last question. Why you?
Because I'm the best person for this job. That's why. And let me tell you what, I'm already doing some of this work. I have been fighting for my community here in Springfield since 2010. I see a problem here, I address it. Back when, let's just give you an example. Back when the tropical storms came through, the hurricanes came through, and the downtown was flooded and everything else. So we actually lost power here. And there was an area on Silver that was completely without power. Everybody else had their power restored. And I went up there to check it out. And the reason that they didn't have power was because there was a power line that was in the tree that had been knocked down, but it wasn't on the ground. It was still in the tree. Well, JEA wouldn't do anything about it because it was in a tree. And the city of Jacksonville wouldn't do anything about it because there was a power line in the tree. They wouldn't do anything about the tree limb. And so there was this headbutt, no, I can't, no, I can't, no, I can't. Well, bottom line is that the power line had already been disconnected. It wasn't live anymore. All right. Well, so if we get the power line or the tree limb down, can you fix it? And they're okay. They like, so all right. I hooked a rope up to the back of my truck, threw it over the limb. And we got that limb down out of the tree. And then I called up, the JEA representative that I've been talking with. I said, okay, limb's down. Can you come fix the power now? And they did. I mean, it's just little things like that.
There doesn't need to be that it's not my problem issue. It just needs someone to do the job.
Right. And I'm like a dog with a bone. If I see something that is wrong and is not fair or anything like that, I will fight. I am a fighter, sometimes to my own detriment. You know that too.
It's a plus, though. It's a plus because what I see is that you care about your community. When you do even just, girl power, getting out there in the truck, throwing a rope over, it's like, oh my gosh, for Christ's sakes, let me just do it. Okay, now it's down. Who's coming? I mean, that's because you care about your community. You didn't think about it. You're just like, it needs to be done. You have people here with no lights, and that's advocacy, within the community, and I appreciate that. All that I know about you, I do feel that you're a good advocate for the city, for the district, and it's just because you are who you are.
Well, thank you, Lauren. I appreciate that.
Best wishes. So we're coming to a close, unfortunately. Is there anything else you want to share before we close?
No, not really. Well, I say no, not really, but then I'm going to say something. The one thing that I will share is to remind everyone that your voice matters, your vote matters. Um, Please do your research, look into all the candidates. Um, I'm going to sit because I'm sitting here. I'm going to say I am the best candidate for you because I will work for you. Um, but I'm not going to also sit here and tell you to vote for me. I need to earn that, and I would like the opportunity to earn that. If there's someone that would like for me to come and speak and or have some questions for me, I'm happy to come out and talk. Um, it's all about the people. My slogan is "My priority is you,"
Mhm.
and that's the way it should be, in my opinion. That a city council person's priority should be the people.
Right. Very good. Well, thank you, Kim Pryor, for gracing us with your appearance and also all of your knowledge and information and your platform. I wish you the best in this election. And at this time, we're going to close out. Thank you, the audience, for watching another Sharing Space. Please stay tuned as we continue to interview other candidates and other different election campaigns. And over and out. Thank you. Have a good evening. Bye bye.